Hello. Hello and welcome. Oh, my mic. I don't think my mic is loud enough. One sec. I did it. I bought a new interface. I think it's still not loud enough. But I bought this because my other one got worse and worse to the point where I was trying to write music. Oh. I was talking into the back of the mic. Hello? Okay, now it's too loud. Damn it. Hello. Okay. Cool. Is that better? Does that sound like, okay, whatever. It's, you get what you get. So today, hey, I never said I'm not an idiot. In fact, I think I've said I am an idiot many, many times. So I agree with you. That's why you sounded like from the yeah, exactly. Anyway, I bought this. I thought it'd be cool to try. Traditionally for the past like 20 years, I've been buying rack mount, like 8 input on the front style interfaces, but I never use more than like maybe 2 or 3 inputs or like 4 outputs at a time. So this has 4 in and 4 out, and I might just 3D print something to have it fit in the rack nicely, because I think that's the only reason I kept buying rack mount ones, is that it fits in like my desk mount rack. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I got a new interface. Hopefully that helps with things. Let's, I think maybe I'll mix Jello's song first. Maybe we'll just do that. Let me extract. So Jello sent me a track. I heard a little bit on my phone speaker when he sent it to me, and I was like, cool, it's a techno track. I don't really know anything about it besides that. He bust out the track so that it's like individual elements. And let me just find where I fucking put it. So I'm assuming my voice is a good volume now, or should I turn this up? I'm going to turn it up a little bit, because normally I'm like in the red when I'm spiritedly talking. Anyway, and right now I'm struggling to get into the red. So this is I believe a pretty simple techno track, and simple, when you're talking techno, simple doesn't mean bad. And yes, I'm happy if you berate my mix. There we go. Now I can do my proper slouch. Okay, I'm going to turn it up. One last mic adjust. Five stems. Yep. All right, let's just have a listen to what it sounds like right out of the box, without any of me. I'm just gonna put a limiter on it so that it's louder. But I'm not gonna do much yet until I listen to it. Oh my God, that first kick. Why? Let's figure out what the tempo is. 135? That looks correct. So there's no side chaining on it yet. I specifically asked him to send it without side chaining so that I would have more mixing possibilities, but it's pretty driving. I would call this driving. This is pretty sick. I like this. So wait, you're saying hard cut at 60. Interesting. Yeah, that's I wonder why. Maybe, but he rendered it out as waves. I don't know. Yeah, it does kind of, something sounds off. What was your amazing idea? Sorry. This is AI? There's no way that Jello sent me an AI track. Come on. But I am a little concerned about this 16 kilohertz thing. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe I should just like call. I don't have service. One sec. Can you hear my phone typing? What a crazy stream situation here. Okay. So I'm just gonna ask him. We'll come back to it. Solo the bass a second. Charge funny. I really don't think this is AI. I think it's a rendering issue. It seems like a rendering problem to me. But I'm just asking him now. Hard cut on all the stems, because like I can hear it too. It's not just like a thing that is on the spectrum like me, but I can hear like the lack of clarity in the top end. So it's definitely an issue. So I'm gonna put my phone back where it gets service and we'll see what he says. Which is typical of AI. Yep, it's Jello. Josh and I have made music for like a decade, and he feels the same way. He might not feel as adverse towards AI as I do, but I really do not think that Josh would have sent me something to mix that's AI generated. Anyway, I messaged him. We'll see what he says. We'll come back to it. We'll check out the tracks you guys have sent, and then we'll come back to it. Okay. It's sad that we have to argue that. Yeah, I mean, like, Josh has been making music since the 90s. Anyway, whatever. We're going to come back to it. I hear my phone vibrating already, though. Okay, this one's called Legends Are Born. Legends are born. And right off the top, we get the words. Legends are born.
Telling me that the giants, telling me that the kings, telling me that they climbing, telling me that they royalty like they living in highness, trying to give me advice, telling me that the clients, all these people are bought, but they don't got a bite. They try to run from the truth, but they run out of sight. Think that they so legendary, they ain't my type. They try to show me the light, but they all full of hype. They not made, they don't fold, they don't break, they don't ever turn away. When it gets tough, they don't fake, they don't fall, they don't flake, they don't ever try to take. When it gets rough, legends are born.
Okay, so I like this. I am just as conscious of the AI stuff as the next person. I didn't find that this sounded like AI.
Me the light, but they all fall away. They not made, they don't fall, they don't break, they don't ever turn away.
Like, I guess I can kind of hear what you're saying because it feels like maybe it's been aggressively tuned, like that, yay, like it's very do, but to me, it doesn't sound like AI, but whatever. I liked it. The drop, you can kind of see the problem here, right? Like the drums that are causing this crazy ducking, are not loud enough. You can kind of tell just by looking at the waveform, right? You're cutting this big wall of sound down to make room for this big kick and snare sound. But the kick and snare sound doesn't justify the depth of the cut, the depth of the sidechain, because it's not big enough. So we really should be having the emphasis on the downbeats, but we're almost having the emphasis on the upbeats because it's louder. So I'd probably take your kick and your snare, put it to a bus, and slam it a bit harder for this style of music because you can get away with a lot of dirtiness on the drums. The snare is also kind of not bright enough. You can see it. Oh, maybe never mind. That was that little swell thing. But like when the snare hits, we have a dip in brightness because I like the sound of the snare. The character's there, but it just needs like a high shelf to bring back some of the like the psh. Am I clipping on the mic? Because like OBS tells me that I'm clipping, but I don't necessarily trust it. Because I think it might just be a bit of a pussy and it's like, ooh, you're getting close to clipping, you know? Yeah, I think if the drums were louder and brighter, then the whole track would sound louder and brighter. So yeah, make your kick and your snare louder and brighter.
It's the same thing every day, week, year, month. They wanna tell you what they made of, but they faked up. So what's it made of? No, they can't say much. A lot of words, but no substance. That's a strange drug that gets you high for a moment till you wake up. Then you see them fall, they never made us. They were made up. See, I learned from the grace of greatest. The goals, they never focused on making. They were focused on one. And I know they not made. They don't fall, they don't break, they don't ever turn away. When it gets tough, they don't fake, they don't fall, they don't flake, they don't ever try to take. When it gets rough, legends are born. They not made, they don't fall, they don't break, they don't ever turn away. When it gets tough, they don't fake, they don't fall, they don't flake, they don't ever try to take. When it gets rough. They don't fake, they don't fall, they don't flake, they don't ever try to take. When it gets rough.
I mean, oh wait, I gotta get this last swell. Wow. And a bit of a long tail. Yeah, I think the song sounds pretty good, honestly. I just think I think the 888 man said it best, needs slammage of the kick and snare. Again, I say this a lot, but like rendering out your track and just looking at the waveform is probably I mean, I say that. I'm not sure that I've actually ever done that on purpose. I've definitely like rendered out a track and then loaded it back into FL just for some other reason and noticed things. But I think it's a pretty good practice to just, when you're getting close to finishing the track, you render it out with the mix and master that you have. And then you take a look at things like the fact that, you know, when the kick and the snare hits, we get a big dip in both brightness and amplitude. So louder kick, louder and brighter snare, profit. Can't guarantee that part, but anyway, I think that's about it. I think the track is cool. It's a song, you know. It's got yeah, I guess you could use mini meters and have like a real-time view of it. I guess, yeah, that's probably a better way of doing it, because then you don't even have to render it out. So that's a good call, Aiden. Maybe like the one thing I might say is, you know, it goes back to another thing I say a lot. If you look at how long like the drop sections are versus the non-drop sections, this track can kind of get away with it a little bit because it's more of like a song. No, would you? I really wish. Why won't it? Do I? There we go. I forgot the key command. Anyway, so like this is drop. This is approximately drop. So like this is how much drop section you have, and then this is like how much. And actually, if we just add it up like this, can get a pretty good representation of like that's how much non-drop, this is how much drop. It's not like a crazy dubstep track where like the drop is the most important part of the song, but you might want to maybe like, you know, the second drop through, maybe double it up and just like step it up another notch. You know, give us what you got here and then try to like raise it up another level. Okay. Just a sec. Raise it up another level. So I would maybe try that. But besides that, the only real objective thing I can say is that the kick and the snare are not loud enough and not bright enough. The end. Okay, let's check out the next one. This one's called Mercury Will Fall by Seymour Fourier. Okay. Seymour Fourier? Like, we're going to see more Fourier analysis? I promise no more fake guitar. Okay. Okay, I love the atmosphere of this. I'm just wondering that like crazy ambient part in the start, what if that was in the right key? Because to me, it kind of, listening to that, dun, 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 it's in whatever key that is. Duh. But then we get the little plucky thing that starts, it's almost like a John Carpenter style thing. It's almost I feel like it's maybe 2 semitones flat from what you're playing musically. But anyway, I could be wrong about that. If I were you, I would try putting it in the same key and see if it does it ruin the atmosphere. Maybe you got to change the music to be in the key of that, but I think they probably should be in the same key, or yeah, I think they should be in the same key. So I'm still struggling with the key thing. So specifically right here, there's a lot of density and dissonance down in like the low end of the track, right? It's like I've said again, another thing I say a lot is like when you play keys that are close to each other, like intervals like a third or whatever, a fifth, and you play it down low end in the keys, they don't really, a fifth isn't so bad, but like a third, usually when you play it really low in the register, the actual frequency, like hertz difference between the notes isn't enough, and it sounds muddy because the ring the frequency of the ring note, that's like the difference between the two notes you're playing at the same time, it's just really low frequency, as opposed to if you played it a couple octaves up, that ring frequency between the two notes is in the audible range. It's more up into the audible range. So you've got too many notes being played too low on the keyboard in this section right here for me to really hear what chord is being played. Like it's really easy to demonstrate if I take just this. Hold on a sec. Okay, so that's a C minor. Now I put it down an octave. Okay, not bad. Put it down another octave. Now it's like that ring frequency is like whoa, 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 whoa. It's almost like 2 or 3 hertz, right? It probably isn't mathematically, but if I do, I'll try a slightly different chord. So let's do like F major up there. Go down an octave. Still good. Go down another octave. It's the same chord. And don't be sorry. This is great. This is a chance for us to discuss this and investigate what happens down there, right? So there's really nothing to be sorry about. It's just it's an interesting thing that you got to keep in mind. Now, a fifth interval, so if I do a F and a C and I go up an octave, still sounds pretty good low down, and that's because they're further away from each other. They're not 3 semitones apart or 4 semitones apart. If I go down another octave, it's almost okay way down there. So a fifth, which is 7 semitones away from each other, you can kind of get away with using fifths down low on the keyboard, but you can't get away with the like C minor. Anyway, so that I would keep that in mind, because right in this moment, if I just like zoom in and listen to one little section, I wouldn't be able to tell you what key that's in. There's too much dissonance happening. And then like in these parts, I really like the drums. And this whole track kind of reminds me of like John Carpenter. Like a John Carpenter like horror movie almost, right? But the problem with this is there's, again, it's like almost like a problem with density. Like your kick drum is very long. It's not like a do, it's like a do. And you're playing a bunch of them on top of each other. And I don't know that they're cutting each other. So for example, if I take, let's go like this and get a kick drum, get a big dirty kick drum. Like, yeah. So if you imagine, I don't know why I feel the need to put this at the start of the project. I'm not going to. So if you do like your track where you're like, you know, you have a long kick drum and you have them stacked like this, they're going to add on to each other. So you gotta, there's a few things you can do. You could cut them. So if I show you like this, cut them so that they're not overlapping, and then only the last one has the full tail. That would be a better solution, because I think your long kick drums, they're doing two bad things. They're clashing with whatever bass is trying to happen in this section because of that long tail. And they're also clashing with each other when you do because of those long tails running over top of the existing kick drum. So that's kind of on you how you want to sort that out. But you got to just keep in mind that the kick drum is kind of a bass. It's kind of playing a bass note, right? And if you have numerous basses happening at the same time, then there's going to be issues. And if you have the kick and the bass happening at the same time and another kick on top of that, it's just going to result in like this messy, rumbly bottom end, which is kind of what's going on right now. I can't really discern like a bass line in this right now. It almost sounds like it might be an arpeggio that's trying to do the whole bass line. Yeah. Not just calling. Imagine if that's, imagine that's my stream, is I just call people dumb for making mistakes. So here, and another thing to note about this is I think you have, we're all dumb even after we've been doing it for 20 years, believe me. Anyway, you have this arpeggio going, which is also contributing to the bass, the bass line, because it's going down into the bass range, and they have long release times. They're ringing out. So you have that, and then you have like a bass synth playing a bass. So you have overlapping kick drums, you have overlapping basses with the kick drums, and then you have basses that are overlapping on top of each other. So there's just too much stuff down low happening all on top of each other, and it's creating a bit of a muddy mess. I don't think you're dumb, and I don't think that you're shitty at producing. I think that you just gotta figure some of these things out, and once they click, then you can move on to figuring out the next thing to fix. But right now, I would concentrate on simplifying your bottom end by making sure that things aren't overlapping each other, like the kick and the bass, or the bass and the bass, or the bass and the bass and the kick. And then go from there. And when I made that note about playing chords down low, that's not just playing chords, but when because I don't think you're playing chords on that instrument. I think you're doing an arpeggiator, but the notes that are being arpeggiated they have a long release time. So it's kind of still playing a chord, because that last note that was just played is still ringing out as you play the next note, if that makes sense. But I like the atmospheric stuff is sick. I do think that if you put that drone at the start in the same key of the bass line, it would be better. So yeah, that's what I think. I think you're doing great, and I like the John Carpenter style of music. So keep doing it and try to clean up that bottom end. Okay, next up we got PGX. I have no idea how to say that, but the song's called Burn.
Heard the warning sign, but
What's with this? Is this what's with the line? I think the vocals could come up. I think the vocals could come up. I saw you said something about the vocals, but I didn't catch it before it turned, like it went past the chat, so I'm not quite sure what you ended up saying. But overall, I think that the vocals are like quite subdued and a little too reverbed out, I think. Like I get like the track is kind of like smoky and atmospheric and stuff, so I get the reverb on the vocals, and maybe they just need to come up, but I kind of feel like they need to come up and get a bit drier as well. To the how wash there plus lower in the mix in the main on the main verb. Yeah, I actually was gonna make that same note as Dark Forge. I thought that the horn the horny thing, the horn sound, it's cool and it's kind of hooky and it's, you know, I really enjoy it, but I do find it's just a little buried in the mix. So I think both the vocals and the horny thing could be drier, and up in the mix. The other thing, again, I'm wondering about the 16 kilohertz kind of apparent line. Yeah, the horny thing, the thing that sounds like a horn. I don't know, the hornish. And you could also play with the wetness of it, like leading up to the drop. It could be wet, 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 and then you dry it out. You could do, I love doing that. And I know that that's kind of a me thing, and maybe it's a taste thing, but I think it would work quite well in this. You don't have to dry it out 100% zero reverb, but it could get nice and atmospheric and spread out, and then it's tight again, right? And I'm just making sure I'm hitting all the right words for this conversation. Overall, the track is like a super, like, I could definitely drive at night while listening to this. All right, see you, dude. I'm glad I was able to do yours early on. Okay, that's basically all I have. I would investigate the 16 kilohertz thing. I would dry out the vocals and the horny thing, and then I would also play with the wetness leading up to the drop before making it tight by turning the wetness down. Okay, cool. Let's check out the now. Holy, look at the brick on that one. It's all bricked up. Okay, this one's called Snake Eyes Sketch. is pretty sick. I like the sound design in this. Let me go back. Yeah, like this drop is pretty sick. I would say I don't even know if I have any feedback for this one. It's great as a sketch. I would keep going. My feedback is basically that like the intro didn't really lead into the drop very well, but in terms of sketching something out, you have a cool atmospheric intro. You have a cool drop. I think you're doing great. I would just keep writing it. It's like neurofunk, I think would probably be the best genre to call it. So the closest thing I think we get to a melody in this is the weird glitched out vocal thing. Yeah, I guess maybe the stereo field. No, I think you're right. I guess I was just so like kind of taken aback by how good the drop sound. I didn't notice, but most of the drop is very mono. And now that I'm listening to it, I'm thinking maybe the wah 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 thing could like be spread out into the stereo field, and there could be some ear candy and atmosphere to bolster up the stereo image, because yeah, there's not a whole lot happening in the stereo field. You might be right, Dark Forge, that the kick is kind of one of the only stereo things. Yeah, there's really not much on the stereo side. So, you know, if you're just writing the track, that's not a big deal, but it's certainly something to keep in mind that you are missing out on a large chunk of real estate that you could use for the mix, right? Yeah, I would put an emphasis as you continue to write it, put an emphasis on filling out that stereo field a little bit more effectively. But besides that, sounds sick. Don't really have anything else to say. Okay, next up, I have to pee already. I'm like 5 songs in. Wow. Okay, the thing you couldn't see. Okay, so that sound is in the audio, not in my interface. So, well, the first easy thing to say is that weird kind of buffer overrun sound that like sounds like a little insect. You got to sort that out. That's a no-brainer. So when we get to this, I'm detecting a hint of sarcasm, Dark Forge. When we get to this section, I mean, overall, you can kind of see we're hitting the limiter on just playing piano. I'm not sure that this is the type of track that has to be rail to rail the entire time, especially when we get here, because we start hearing the pumping artifacts of the master limiter doing work, right? And you can mostly hear it because when big things happen down low on the piano, it's affecting the amplitude of the stuff up top. You can really, that's kind of when you can hear compressors work, when you can hear one element affecting the dynamics of an unrelated element, like the high keys are being pulled down by the big notes being played down low on the piano. So I guess two pieces of feedback for this, and it might be the only two, excuse me, is that you got to get rid of the insect sound, which I'm sure is not intentional, or else I hope it's not intentional. And then just go easy on the compressor, the master limiter, or whatever sort of dynamics you're doing. Like this track doesn't need to be loud. This isn't a Skrillex track that's going to come after another Skrillex track in a DJ set. This is, from what I can tell, probably something that's supposed to go with a visual or something, maybe. Musically, it's cool. I'm not, the strings don't sound super convincing. And everything is just too compressed. Those are the two, I guess the three kind of objective things. And I don't even know if the piano, well, I guess the strings not being convincing probably is objective, but the two real objective things are it's overcompressed, generally speaking, and the insect noise being caused by like some buffer underrun or overrun or overflow or whatever. There's some almost like audio interface type of thing happening here. And then like, all those crazy blah, 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 blah. I mean, they're fun, but they don't really sound realistic. They're too perfect. So you could maybe humanize them a bit in terms of velocity and timing. You don't have to go crazy. You'd be surprised at how much just kind of shifting things around just a little bit adds to the believability of a performance. Anyway, just take those into consideration, see what you can do. Okay, next up we got Verbatim. I'm gonna have to pee at some point here. It's adding up. This one's called Soul R&B, and it's starting off with the car starting up.
Too tame, I ain't for the south, but I appreciate the wood grain. Never calling me about the north, it's only two, man. I'm in the same building, but the flows and views change. I ain't for the waiting now. I bought a Rari and I did it just to hit the sound. God say, really about to lose all this meaning now. Guess you love to travel when I pull up and you leaving town. Say you married to the game and I just let it down. I got a flight in the morning, I see what you've been trying to do when I'm a mission to border. You think I never pay attention, in my mind I'm recording. I'm about to win and ruin all your goals and dreams out of border. Riding around the homies like we run the city. Looking fresh and feeling like a millie.
Okay, so the vocals, they actually sound pretty dope on it. Like, I agree with Rayham or Dark Forge or whoever said that the snare drum has a bit too much release on it.
But I appreciate the wood grain. Never calling me about the noise, it's only two, man. I'm in the same building, but the flows and views change.
But like, again, you can kind of see by this waveform, I know it's not mastered or anything, but even when I try to like bring a master limiter down on it, it's kind of hard to get it set right because of how much louder the drums are than like the vocal and stuff.
Really about to lose all this meaning now. Guess you love to travel when I pull up and you leaving town. Say you married to the game.
But to me, this does not have as much power as like this. To me is the drop. I don't know about going into the cyberpunk stuff. And I think what's really making it sound not as powerful for me is that your bass line is going da na 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 na. It's going up an octave, and we're back in the trap spot. We just have bum ba bum bum ba bum bum. Like we have the 808 just constantly providing girth at the bottom of the track. And then when you go to the cyberpunk mid-tempo thing, the bass line is going up and down, and we're losing that bottom end during certain moments of the drop as it's playing the octave up keys, right? So we're losing like some of that sub power. And it's not necessarily that you can't go full-time, four to the floor cyberpunk on this and it work, but right now, if you compare the two sections, this sounds more. The snare just maybe isn't right. Like that snare just isn't right for this style, right? But you're gonna have to make a decision to do one thing or another. Am I gonna just keep it like a trap song? Because I could more along the line. I would hear something as it built up, drops to like that trap style beat. Dun, 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 and it has like a ear sound or something, you know. That to me would be what I would do with the track. But if you want to go cyberpunk, you're gonna have to make sure that cyberpunk it has more balls in the bottom end.
To do, boss, only talking, making major moves. Rolls Royce, no top, me, no one will ever stop me. Me against the world, I got my back against the wall. Oh, no.
Yeah, I like the trap sections better than I like the cyberpunk sections. And again, not that you can't do a cyberpunk thing, but I just think this execution of it, the fact that the bass line's going up, it just takes away from the power of the track. You could maybe have your main bass doing all that walking around, but maybe the bottom, like the sub bass, is sticking more to the da dan da 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 dan da dan da da dan da 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 dan da dan, like in the same octave. Yeah. I would maybe try that. I would maybe try keeping your bass line, the dirty, like distorted style bass, keep it doing the cyberpunk thing, but try to channel some of the energy that you had here in terms of the sub bass, so that we don't lose that sub when you go da da, like when you put the bass up an octave, we don't lose that bottom end. We keep the bottom end. Yeah, I mean, you could do less octave jumping, or you could just octave jump on just the colored bass. I don't mean color bass, but like the bass that we hear. And then the sub bass could just stick at the bottom octave and not jump up an octave. And because they're playing the same note, just in a different octave, the bass line will still probably feel cohesive, and you'll get the best of both worlds. Maybe. I don't know. It's worth a try. But I definitely like, I like
only talking, making major moves. Rolls Royce, no top.
Bass of color. Sorry. I'm sorry. I wasn't politically correct on that one. Yeah, I would try that. I would see how that goes. And then I would maybe contemplate, like, how can I keep it a trap beat, but mix in cyberpunk elements, but keep the trap beat? Maybe that would be cool. I don't know. It's a cool, I don't think I've ever really heard a trap song with a cyberpunk thing in it. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I think. I think it's cool. I think it's kind of a badass track, but that the cyberpunk is just not carrying its weight in terms of the rest of the track. All right, let's move on. I actually have to go urinate now. So I'm going to listen to this while I pee. I will be right back. Oh, Lava World 1. Yes, that's the correct one. Delete. Okay, here we go. This is wild. I was peeing out there and I was like, oh, okay. When it gets to this section, I'd put more of an emphasis on the boom, ba, boom, ba. You kind of have a sound in there. It kind of sounds like a metal pipe almost. I would put more emphasis because right now it's kind of da 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 da. We're like rocking out to the quarter notes, and then at this point we should be more rocking out to the eighth note. So bam, 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 bam instead of bam, bam, bam. If you know what I mean. You have the right idea there, but it's just not quite coming through the mix enough to get me like rocking out to the offbeats. And I had a big limiter on that. Dude, that's crazy. It didn't even sound bad. I guess that tells you that you probably could hit it a bit harder in the master because I accidentally fucked it. To me, visually, this looks terrible. I wouldn't really recommend that if I saw that, but listening to it, I don't even really hear a problem. Why do I have character set to fast? Because most of the music I make is like distorted, or most of the music I used to make when I used to make music is distorted. So I would just hit it real hard because it's already distorted. Oh no, it's going to get distorted more. You know, that's my thought. The quicker that you can make the release time, the louder the track's going to be because it comes up to full volume quicker after an event, right? I never have it any lower than 1. Well, good for you, Raham. I'm proud of you. Yeah, it's sick. Dude, that sounds like, this is crazy. So like I used to just do a bunch of sound design and just put them into these flavors folders. Which one was it? Whoa, 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 whoa. I had something that sound just like that. It says Lava World. Oh. Dude, one of these ones is like, it sounds so similar to that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, what the fuck? Not that it matters. I'm just like curious for my own. I realize that I think the biggest skill that I have is pattern recognition. I think that's what it all boils down to. And I mean, you could make the argument that everybody's biggest skill is pattern recognition, because everything is pattern recognition. But I don't know. Like, I hear something, it triggers a little pattern somewhere in my brain that connects to some other pattern in my brain, and I say those two things are similar, and then I make educated decisions based on that. But anyway, I'm not going to really try to find it for too long. I'm just curious. Whoa. Bluntly castrated. That's a name. I pissed myself. Great. I shit myself. Excellent. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, these are just like patches that I've made over the years. This one makes no sound. Oh. Anyway, whatever. The track is sick. I really like the track. I think you could probably do a bit more work to the non-drop sections to make them a little bit more interesting and build in. Like, I know that there are effects in here. But I just didn't really feel like it got me excited. When it drops, I'm excited. But leading up to the drop, I didn't really feel like I was getting like, oh, you know, I didn't feel the and I do like this like 4 to the floor thing in the middle. And I'm not saying that you can't do this, but I would probably shorten this section by half or something so that you still have what it's doing. Like, you're still getting the effect of like this like breakdown section. But like maybe just not as long, because I feel like you might lose some people with just like this like thumpy. If you're listening to it on a phone, it probably would almost sound like the track is finished for like 10 seconds, and then you start to hear it opening up through the phone speaker, right? It would be funny if that was Nick's genuine involuntary reaction during every hype buildup. Hey, maybe we just haven't heard the right hype buildup yet. Maybe if we had the right hype buildup, we would see the genuine reaction. I'm just joking. My genuine reaction to most things is this. So, okay, that's what I think. I think, you know, a couple notes on like the eighth note thing to pick up the pace halfway through the drop. You pick up the pace with the eighth note. But I think that the builds could be a bit more interesting. Specifically in the high frequency range, I think that's more where I'm missing it, like the type thing. And then just, I don't know, maybe limit it a bit harder. Cause I mean, I slammed it by accident and it didn't sound bad. It just sounded louder with no like perceivable issues on my end. So take that with a grain of salt. Okay, let's listen to the next one. Aiden Dodge and Sunflower, Light in You. Short little thing at the end. What is that, you cheating to like sneak in a second song? Okay, so this is like Dance Dance Revolution, which is cool. I think my biggest problem with it so far is that the dun 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 dun. The super saw sound leading up to the drop, and when it dropped into the drop was very similar. I didn't really feel like much changed about it, if anything at all. So what you might want to do is, you know how it's kind of like all spaced out, you know, reverbed out. It's very blurry and big and whatever. Maybe during the drop, it's more of a dun 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 dun. Like it's more, I wouldn't say plucky with like a low pass kind of pluck, but maybe it's a bit tighter and more rhythmic as opposed to just like a kind of a blurry wall of super saw detunedness. Either way, I feel like something has to happen because when it dropped, it didn't feel like enough happened at the drop moment, I believe. Let me. Yeah, because you also have like the bass, like the sub bass is also going quite girthily in this section. And then, okay, yes, it's probably slightly girthier at the drop, but we already had like girthy sub bass right before the drop. And we had this like blurred out wall of unison sawtooths. And now we have a kick drum with those elements still. So I feel like it was a bit anticlimactic when it dropped. That snare is awful, says Raham. I feel like that's a very common thing for him to say. I'm trying to keep as much of the vibrato in it without it sounding off key. Okay, it's acting as a snare. It's a acting interim snare. Anyway, so yeah, the snare thing, whatever, it's kind of like a taste. I think the snare thing is a taste thing. Like I can kind of get behind it because I can see the vision and I feel like it has like a psh kind of snare. Maybe one that artificially ends, you know, like it has this like massive sounding tail that just ends abruptly, like on the 8th note upbeat where the hi-hat happens or something. That could maybe be cool. But I think the bigger problem is it's just a bit too messy. It's not tight enough. Yes, gated. Yes. Gated snare. Yes. The gated snare is the goated snare.
There is no light left to see, for there's no light left in me. My happiness is just a disguise, and if you look me in the eyes, you will realize that I'm dead inside.
I didn't really like the when the vocal kind of got sidechained there. This section, it kind of isn't a good execution of this idea. The sidechaining with the super low pass kick drum that we can't hear for like 4 or 5 kicks. It's just a bit confusing rhythmically, and the vocal just kind of sounds like it got turned down unintentionally at that moment.
And if you look me in the eyes, you will realize that I'm dead inside, have nowhere to hide. And if you look me in the eyes, you will see the truth. I struggle through my youth, and if I can't be soothed, I don't know what I'll do. I still see the light in you. It's shining straight through.
Like musically, I dig it, but that the synths are they just kind of sound soft and out of focus almost in an audio sense. I do also agree with Dark Forge that, you know, that you kind of sound like you're running out of breath. You can do takes. You can do it like line by line and comp them together. It's usually best to try to do as much, you know, in one take as possible because it usually sounds the most natural. But you can still get away with comping different takes together. You just got to be picky with which takes you comp to other takes, and maybe where do you cut it. You don't necessarily have to cut it at the start of each line. You could maybe it sounds better if you take the ending of this take with the first of this take and you cut it somewhere in the middle. But yeah, it did kind of sound like you were running out of steam there. So maybe that's something to look into as well. Kind of reminds me of that Justin Bieber song, Beauty and the Beast. Or, sorry, Beauty and the Beat. Is that what it's called? Beauty and the Beat? I think so. But it's all to lose just 'cause there's no light left to see. Honestly, I think this is the best part of the song. I almost think you should use that as the main drop, and then this could maybe be a reprieve. Is that the word that I always try to figure out but can't ever figure out, but maybe figured it out this time? Like, where's the start? Or let's take it. Yeah, let's try it. Okay, this is gonna be rough, but we're just gonna see. I don't know, man. If I were you, I'd probably base the drops off of this. Obviously, you'd have to tweak the buildups and stuff, but like this drop is kind of superior, in my opinion, to the other ones. There's no light left to see. There's no light left to see. For there's no light left in me. For there's no light left in me. Trapped inside a lucid dream. Trapped inside a lucid dream. And there's no wink in me. And there's no wink in me. I need to escape this reality. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you can make the other drop sections work, but right now they're just kind of too blurry and soft and out of focus, I think, to achieve what you're after. So maybe you could tweak them, but my inclination would be to drop with that style and then, I don't know, and then see where that takes you. And then maybe use that other style as like the second part of the drop or something. I'm not sure.
When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I push, 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 push. When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I push, 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 push. When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I push, 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 push. When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good. When I push, 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 push. When I push, I feel good. When I pull.
This is not a version I needed to hear of this song. That's kind of that's what through my head when I heard
push. I feel good.
I mean, like, I think the drop is sick. I just don't know that I need to hear Aiden Dodge say these words.
Push. I feel
good. But I think that the track is cool. I would maybe take the track and ditch the cover of whatever that song is called. I can't remember what it's called, and make it your own track. Okay, cool. Let's check out the next one. That wasn't me coughing. That was me pronouncing the first part of this name. And then, vocals. Yeah. Well, don't Don't start a song with a low pass fade. In all honesty, when I hear a song that starts with a low pass fade, what I'm hearing is, I don't know how to start this song. Let's use a low pass fade. That's what goes through my head. And maybe that's incorrect. And maybe that's not how other people feel. But that's how I feel. When I hear that, I'm like, oh, they didn't know how to start this song. They just wanted to ease into it. So I don't know, maybe just don't. Or at least if you do, don't like just make the first little tiny bit of it low pass and then open it up and like give us some more. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. So here's what I think you should do. I think that you should, when it gets, you should rearrange the intro to make it more interesting, and you know, the low pass thing, but also just make the intro more listenable and not so like DJ focused. Because you can always make an extended club mix, extended mix of a song or whatever, but the version of a song that most people are going to listen to does not have a long DJ intro. Like, that's not like a radio edit, you could call it, right? Anyway, if you started off a little bit stronger, you hit us with like the kick drum and the groove of it a little bit quicker, then by the time the vocals are about to kick in, you could drop out the drums, have the nice chords that you have, and then the vocals on top of them. Because I think those vocals would like be way more if they were like, if the track was like, and then the singing was there with the chords underneath it, and you start building the track up with the vocals going. I think that would be a much better arrangement style. Yeah, I really like this synth thing that's happening, but I do agree that the mix is dark sounding. Like, it almost sounds like you forgot to turn off a low pass. And like, say that kind of cool synth, that thing, say that was still kind of low passed as like a character thing. If the hi-hat and the rest of the track had some brightness for that to kind of sit in, you could still maybe keep the low pass or band pass on that main portamento kind of synth. You could keep that kind of dulled down as a stylistic choice, but right now the track doesn't really have a lot representing the high frequencies. So it kind of just sounds like the whole track is dark. This is this type of place where the vocals will go. Yeah, like that's a perfect spot. Like that's kind of what I envision to go. Say we say like that, and maybe we start here. Or even. mean, maybe we could keep this. And I'm assuming it's 128. Am I right? So instead of dropping there, you could do this here. And then the vocals go over top of this section as you build us up to the drop section. Yeah, a fade in and a fade out. I like the old records where they would fade out and you can kind of hear the musicians start to fuck around a little bit right at the very end before it gets too quiet. You can hear them like sometimes you can hear like a wrong note or like somebody laughing in the background. I like that shit. See, I mean, like, I'm going to give you the same feedback that I usually do. Like, the groove, the vibe, it's all very nice. And it's just a little not in my face enough. It's just a little too like, hey, guys, do you want to hear some nice sounds? Here's some nice sounds if you don't mind. It's not like, hey, bitch, check out this track. Hello, Caro Tile. But I think a good place to start is cut the intro down, fuck off with the low pass fade thing. It's kind of a cop out in my opinion. I mean, sometimes it's useful, but make this track primarily for people to listen to and then go backwards and make like a big DJ intro. That's my advice. But of course, if you love the way it sounds, then I will go fuck myself and you can do exactly what you want. I would build it up. I would drop and bring the vocals in over top of this. I think that would be incredible. Build us up, hit us with a drop. And then structure the song just like those vocals are important, right? And structure the song around the vocals as if they were important. Let's listen to the last bit. I think I don't even know where the wave for Into the Light is. It's probably a good reference though for this style of music. You're right. I never thought of that. I made it on my laptop when I was in Toronto at Adam's place. But if we do Into the...
What kind of panties was it, you think, if you had to guess?
They were some little flowery little...
Into the Light. I was listening to Theo Vaughn on my way here. That lead ditty thing is actually quite strong. Yeah, like there's a lot of great elements in the track. They're just so sparsely distributed in like a kind, non-confrontational way. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to get him away from, is be a little bit more, and you could even apply that to the intro. It's very non-confrontational. It's very like, hey, do you mind? It's very Canadian almost. Do you mind if I like bring this song to you to listen to? And you're like, okay, here's a little bit more, as opposed to just like, boom, here's the track, So this is a good reference. It's a track I made with Adam Kay and Jill Harris years ago.
We are sleepless now, drift.
And right off the gate, there's no drums, no music, just vocal and a vocoder. Like,
Running out tonight, you're by my side, fighting on into the light.
but it's still very it's very progressive and the way it builds. Anyway, it's maybe a good reference. Yeah, that's actually an interesting story. Those hi-hats, I accidentally, you know how in FL Studio, maybe you don't, but if you're holding shift and you scroll, it shifts it, but it doesn't shift it like musically, it shifts it just a little bit. So I like accidentally shifted the hi-hats over. And then I remember telling Adam, because I think what I did was I started the project on my laptop and I got it to a good place. And then I stemmed it out. We put it on his studio PC. And I think we finished producing it on his studio PC. But I remember specifically telling him, I'm like, Adam, do not fix the hi-hats. Please leave the hi-hats fucked up. So the hi-hats are just like way off from where they should be. So they are almost lined up with a triplet grid, but not quite. Yeah, so I guess like overall, again, like Cheese is very good at creating this vibe and this feeling, right? But I think, and this is just my opinion, but I think what would serve the songs that Cheese makes better would be to just be a little bit more confident in the way that you introduce the elements. Overall, hit us with stuff. Don't try to sneak in an element. Hit us with it. Be like, bitch, this is what you're getting. This is the sound that I made, you know? And see, the good thing about that is he doesn't have to change his sound. Like, all of this stuff is still great. It's just the way that he introduces the elements that he already makes. All of the stuff in this track at any given point is very sonically pleasing and musically solid. It's just a little too... That's the best way I can describe it. And also putting the vocal over top of this thing. You got to do it, man. Like, that's what you got to do. Okay, that's what I got. Let's move on. We got Ed Ho, and I see Leroy Jenkins sent something in, so let's grab that too. All right, let's check this one out. Ed Ho. So, okay, so I don't really love the chord progression, but I did love, dun dun. I like how it hangs there. It builds like suspense for whatever's going to happen next. So the chord progression, I don't love. I think it's primarily those first two chords. I think they're like one and then they go up a semitone. That last chord is sick as fuck though. That like gets me excited for whatever's about to happen. I think it's the second chord. The second chord just doesn't feel right to me in my loins. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think the switching between like the piano and like the trap stuff, I think that's cool. But I think it might be a little too starty-stoppy. I think you gotta be a little bit more sparing with when you do that, instead of doing it at the start of every single time. Because what it does is you're kind of trading. You're making a compromise. You're trading the groove for an interesting moment. You're dropping the groove. You're saying, don't worry, the groove is gone, but here's this cool moment. And then you give us the groove back. But then you break the groove again to give us kind of the same moment again. And then we're back into the groove. And then you break the groove and give us kind of the same moment. So I just think you're overusing dropping it out like that. I think it would be better if you broke the groove a little bit more intentionally, as opposed to, it just kind of sounds almost obligatory here. It's like, oh, we're at the start of a measure, we better drop the drums out and do the piano thing. So I think, and not that you can't do something at the start of every measure, but like you're losing the groove for 4 quarter notes, which I think, if my math is correct, is a whole note. Yeah, it's just too starty-stoppy. It breaks the groove too much. If you're good, it's okay to break the groove, but doing it that often for that long each time, it just stops me from getting into the groove. Because if you think about, like, what is a groove? You know, I think what a groove is, and I think the reason why it's called a groove is, if you've ever say you've like mountain biked or been on a 4-wheeler and you find yourself in a groove, like in a tire groove, it directs you. It takes you places, whether you want to go there or not. It's in control of where you're going and how you're going there. So that's what in a track, the groove is the same thing. You get the track is telling you how to move your body. You're in the groove. But if you break that groove, every time you break it, we're kind of sitting there waiting, like, what are we? Oh, okay. And then you get back into the groove, and getting in and out of the groove is not necessarily a good thing to do this often, in my opinion. I just feel like I've said groove more times in the past 1 minute than I have in my entire life. But I think it's a good analogy. If you think about like a groove in like a trail, or I don't know, maybe a record groove, but that's harder to visualize because we don't, as humans, get stuck in like record grooves. But I've definitely been on a 4-wheeler, and I'm just like, it doesn't matter what I do with my handlebars, I'm going in the groove. Okay, so that's what I think. I think maybe experiment with the chord progression, unless you love it, because music is subjective for the most part. But I bet you if you played around with that the second chord specifically, you might find something that's just a little bit more pleasing to probably you and everybody else. And then maybe when you're doing these starty-stoppy things, just be conscious that every time you do that, you're breaking the groove of the track. And it's okay, but don't do it too often. Okay, cool. Dark Forge, choppy whip, still messy. Maintain the groove is worth taking a look. As far as I know, yeah, I mean, like, it's not like there's a correct way of breaking the groove and an incorrect way of breaking the groove. It's something that is a skill to be able to break the groove and get back into it. And you're kind of manipulating people if you think about it. So it's almost like a manipulative trait. You need to understand what you're doing to your audience when you drop the groove out and you bring it back in. And really, when you're making music, you're kind of like reaching into the listener's brains and like tickling them a little bit. And you just have to know what you're doing when you're in there tickling. You can't just tickle. You got to tickle strategic. Making music is strategic tickling of the brain. Okay, let's listen to Choppy. I'm going to just do that. Yeah, this is really cool. Even with the limiter that I left on. So a couple things. I think it should get here sooner. I kind of felt like we were loitering around a little bit. I guess the structure to me doesn't necessarily just put it in the fucking. Don't be like that, Rayham. Put it in the thing. Put it in the thing so I don't have to click a different thing. Like, I don't know how to show you this, but right now, if you submitted it, I wouldn't have to. I would just move my mouse beside where it's at right now and click download. I can't contractually. Oh my God, you fucking diva. All right. Well, I got it from the DMs. Congratulations. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of great ideas in this structure so far, but they just kind of feel like they're sprinkled haphazardly a little bit. Like they, can I DM a song that I haven't made? Well, that would be impressive. Yeah, so there's like lots of good ideas, but the flow of it, I wasn't really following so much. So I like all the stuff that's in there, all the little synth things, all I like these drums that sound half acoustic, half electronic. Like that's all cool, but you can almost just even tell by the like the waveform that like, I'm not quite sure. It's not following a predictable path towards the drop section, I guess. So maybe just generally shorten up these sections and make it intended on adding vocals. Okay, that might change things. So then we'll put a pin in that. You're aware. Cool. The next thing is the more technical thing I have. I find both your kick and your snare don't have quite enough of a snappy transient. They're kind of like they almost have you have like reverse things. And it kind of sounds like somebody is like that's like the transient. It's like a slipping transient. And I just think that the track overall has kind of some roundness to it. So having a snappy transient to really designate the start of each kick and snare hit, because right now the kick and the snare almost fade in with the rest of the elements. It's almost like the kick and snare are just part of the instrumentation that are there. They're not really defining the edge of the beat. So I would try, it's not to say that you can't do reverse things into stuff. Like, I don't think that's the problem, but it's kind of compounding the problem, which is there's just not quite enough transient on the main, oh, dude, that would be incredible. That is such a good snare sound. That, what song is it that they, I push my fingers into my eyes is the only thing that starts the pain. Oh, I gotta tell it. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, duality. Yeah. Oh man, that's such a good song. Yeah, I mean, like even just like look at the kick. There's no real. I can't tell where the kick starts. It's like a boom. A boom, dum, 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 bum. But musically and like sound design and shit, it sounds dope. What? I'm right? Yes! Finally! This last drop is fucking fire, dude. Honestly, this sounds like the main drop to me. To me, this is the main drop. This should go here. And then this could be modified to be like a post drop, right? Because it kind of like, it's still delivering that same idea, but at a tighter, less energy level. And you could maybe bring vocals. You could maybe get rid of your like the main sound vocal kind of synthy thing. Get rid of that and maybe put like the vocal, like maybe a hook from the vocal or something. You could use this still. This part is still sick, but this is like, dude, this is the track right here. This is like really good. It even like the drums feel like they have more. It's almost like you heard my feedback in the first drop and you fixed it in the second drop. Well, whatever. There's something else adding like definition to the start of the transients. Are there like, is there like a disco loop or something? Oh, you motherfucker. Anyway, I really, really like that second drop. That's like, I want to be like the dance emoji guy with the purple shirt on or whatever. You have a lot of really, really good ideas in this. I think it's going to be a matter of sorting through them and arranging them properly. And then I do think that a vocal could be nice with this. It may not be necessary, depending on how you arrange it, but I think you got most of what you need here, and now you just got to arrange it. So keep going and don't listen to Rayham. All right, we got Leroy Bankins. Sorry, I shouldn't say it like that. It might make you feel not good. G-step. I don't know what G-step is. Is it like gangster step or? I'll make the 150. Hell yeah. Or is it in the key of G and it's just called step? Maybe. All right, let's line her up. Let's have a listen. Yeah, I mean, the high end, it's lacking high end, but I don't know if it's lacking high end because, like, look at how much we're lacking up at the top airiness because of the 187 kilobit per second. Like, I haven't seen that number ever, so that's cool. What do I think? I think musically this is fucking excellent. The only thing... I find that, like, I overdid it trying to kill the harshness. Yeah, maybe, but you also overdid it by rendering it as a fucking potato. So there's that too. The only other, like, creative feedback is that the switch ups I found were a bit abrupt. It almost sounds like there's two ideas being like morphed into one. And I understand that you're going back and forth between like the dubstep kind of like... I don't know, maybe it's not a problem, but it did, when I heard it, I was like, oh, that's quite a departure from like the initial idea that was established. Maybe it's not a problem, maybe it doesn't need to be fixed. But I just, when the first listen through, when I wasn't familiar with this section at all, it just caught me off guard and I was like, oh, is this like a new song? So I don't know. I mean, they're both great ideas and they're in the same key and the same tempo and they share some of the same vibe. I'm just not sure if there's maybe a better way of transitioning between two different, you know, musical ideas a little bit better than what's currently happening. Yeah, I agree with Raham about the kick. It doesn't sound particularly good in that section. But like, I'm hesitant to give you that feedback because I don't necessarily have a solution. And I usually like, if I point something out, I usually like to at least have an idea of like something you could try to see if you like it better. But I don't necessarily have like an idea of how to blend them better. I just think that they could maybe be blended together a little bit better somehow. It's a dope track. And I think if we had more high end, and it was mastered a bit harder, I mean, I appreciate the headroom more than I would appreciate if it was overdone, but you have a lot of room that you could push this a lot harder. Like if you go to the VOD after I'm done streaming and you listen to when I was like bypassing, going back and forth between, I think I added like 6 decibels of top end and then probably another 6 decibels of limiting. The track just like came alive a lot more. So I would not stray away from the high end. I understand that you don't want it to be harsh, but harsh doesn't mean high end. It's a combination of things, right? But yeah, I think it's a sick track, dude. Like it's very woo. It's very woo sassy, you know? And I like that. It kind of reminds me of like Chromeo if they decided to make dubstep or glitch hop or something, you know? So very well done. Next time, render it out at least 320, please. Okay, last one of the day. I haven't heard back from Jello, so we'll have to revisit that. Oh, Haywire. That's actually a great reference. All right, this is Raham's super top secret collab VIP that he had to send to me in my DMs. I'll be posting it in the general after the stream. Okay, I like the vibe. I like a lot about it. I think that mix wise, it's dull, and the drums are quite quiet. The drums, I don't know. It's kind of like you could maybe the mix has to change, but also when I mastered it, like I did here, and I just added some top end and I squanched it all together a little bit harder, then the drums didn't really bother me anymore. I haven't tried mixing it. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure what kind of feedback you want on it besides I think it's a cool idea and I like it. And it sounds very Rayhem in a good way. But yeah, I think you've got it to a point. I'm assuming you've got more written, and maybe this is just a bit of it, or. But I would maybe start trying to get the mix nailed down a little bit, right? Like sounds like it was mixed in a room with stained glass windows and no treatment. That is such a specific and accurate thing. More so just wanted to hear whether it should be continued. Yeah, I mean, I always think it's kind of funny when people are like, should I finish this? Like, dude, like, it's your song. You need to make that call. But I think it's a valuable piece of art. Yes, I think it is the beginning of a valuable piece of art that the universe should receive at some point. So keep going. Okay, that's it. Cool. I'm glad. Oh, that's not me. And neither is that. This is me. But sometimes ideas are definitely shit and should be vaulted. Yeah, but I think that's kind of like, that's like a you call, you know? I don't know. I would never want to tell somebody to scrap something and then they scrap it and then they're like, fuck, I shouldn't have scrapped that, but whatever. I'm really glad that my new interface, I'm not sponsored. I paid full price for this thing. And I'm glad that it worked out today. It didn't screw up. It didn't crash. I'm looking forward to having less issues. Now, if I could just sort out my damn internet, that would be incredible. All right. I love everybody on the stream and not necessarily everybody in the world. That would be a lot of love. And I don't know that my heart is that accommodating, but I would if I could. And I hope that you have a good weekend. That was weird. Goodbye.